Welcome again to another episode of another crazy Pedrosa adventure. This time we take you out to the Mexican state of Tlaxcala. Tlaxcala is an interesting state because it was the only state in Mexico that was not conquered by the Spanish. Tlaxcala is the smallest state in Mexico. Tlaxcala is located about 140 kilometers east of Mexico City, just north of the state of Puebla. In fact, the only thing that separates Tlaxcala and Puebla is a volcano, which we all know as Popocatépetl. Needless to say, the state landscape is very hilly, and there's quite a lot of cactus. To get to Tlaxcala, there are several routes. The most direct route would be taking a bus from Mexico City. They leave more or less every 30 minutes and cost about 200 pesos. The taxi cab drivers were unusually hesitant to take me into the city center. This was a little bit strange to me because I do speak perfect Spanish, well, mostly perfect Spanish, but it looked to me that they didn't want to have anything to do with this white guy in their city, so I had to walk about 15 minutes to the city center.
Not sure, but I think I might have to go up these stairs. They do not make it easy getting around here in Tlaxcala.
Walking would have not have been too bad, but Tlaxcala is high up in altitude and it is very hilly. The sidewalks tend to be elevated, and so you end up having to walk up and down a lot. Walking into the city center was interesting. The streets were very clean, but not a lot of public transport options. Basically, there was these green vans, or you could get a taxi. No Uber in the entire state. The first thing I did when I got into the city center was go to the legislative building. When I got close, I saw this motorcycle club. At first I thought it was a motorcycle gang because they had like this motorcycle gang look going on, but it turned out that they were having a fundraiser concert in the plaza. Kind of a strange visual seeing these motorcycle guys clapping their hands to children's music, but they were raising funds for disabled children, so my hats are off to them for the good work that they were doing. Tlaxcala was founded by 8 chiefs, and now there are 8 districts. What you see here is 8 shields representing those 8 districts, and the shields on the wall represent the different cities and the towns in the state. Back in the plaza, the motorcycle club continued to clap along to the music. Further along the plaza, there was this beautiful church. But what was more interesting is that this was a Sunday and they were not having church services inside the church. The church service was outside, and as you will hear, it was being led by a woman. I don't think I ever remember a Catholic church service being led by a woman before.
Supreme Court, State Supreme Court building there. There's a marionette party going on right now.
The city was celebrating a marionette festival, and so with this going on in the main plaza, there was several marionette shows.
La bella amazona Meridian. Un gran aplauso para Meridian. Increíble.
The governor's palace is interesting in Tlaxcala. It is interesting because inside there are these murals by an artist known as Desiderio Hernandez Xochicotzin. Yeah, try to say that 10 times fast. Who himself was a Tlaxcalan and, interestingly enough, a student of Diego Rivera. The lower part of the murals describe how the 8 Tlaxcalan tribes united to become one strong group. The lower murals also talk about how the Tlaxcalans were fierce warriors, and even though they were surrounded on all sides by the Aztecs, they were never defeated. Walking up to the governor's office, you can see the painted history of how the Spanish made a treaty with the 8 Tlaxcalan chiefs.
We are now up in the governor's office. You can see all the old governors going all the way back. In the far back, I see the first one who was actually a native, all the way to the current one over here. Some paintings.
The mural on the stairs leading up to the governor's office is very interesting. It starts out with the legend of how Tlaxcala was formed. Legend has it that the great wind blew and the gods placed the Tlaxcala people on the mountaintops. Even though the Aztecs tried to wipe out them many times, the people of Tlaxcala were very resourceful. In addition to being very fierce on the battlefield, they were master traders and had lots of resources. When the Spanish came, they didn't think the Spanish were gods like the Aztecs did, but they recognized that they had a mutual enemy, and so they made a treaty with the Spanish. This allowed the people of Tlaxcala a lot of autonomy. While the rest of Mexico were basically made slaves, Tlaxcala was free and independent. The people of Tlaxcala to this very day retain this freedom, and because of it, they have a very different outlook on what it means to be a Mexican. To learn more about Tlaxcala, I headed out into the countryside to a place called Cacatzla. Cacatzla is an old Tlaxcala archaeological site, and in ancient times it was used as an outpost for the people of Tlaxcala.
I'm here in Tlaxcala, the archaeological site. This is the Valley of Puebla, and apparently I am right behind the Popocatépetl, and it's smoking today. Very interesting.
Near the entrance there is a very small site museum that you can go into.
This is made of obsidian, volcano, and jade. Some funerary pots. Spears and some lances. This is Venus, and sign of Venus's attendance. I'm not sure if Venus is a boy or a girl, but either way, it's a lot different interpretation than the Greeks and the Romans had. Not only did they kill this person, they used this person's skull as a cup. And this person over here to the left had a very flat skull. And it looks like these bones were decorated.
Outside is a very tall, covered outpost pyramid that you can walk up to.
It's the top of this pyramid. I doubt I'll go to the next one. This used to be a plaza with colonnades. Right here is the reason why the Tlaxcalans were never conquered. From this vantage point, they can see everywhere. They can see to Puebla, to Puebla, and over there to Mexico City. You can see everything from up here.
Due to the fact that the Spanish never burned the temples of Tlaxcala, even though the temples were abandoned, they are some of the best preserved Hispanic murals in all of Mexico. The colors are still very vivid. In this plaza, the Tlaxcalans would sacrifice their victims and would put their leftover body parts in this hole in the middle of the ground. One of the main reasons the Tlaxcalans were never defeated is because it used to take up to 3 days to make it up to this outpost, an outpost that was protected on every side by a heavy covering of cactus.
On this side, you can see that they're still digging. They're still finding more murals. It's just layers and layers and layers of murals. That's what's going on here. Some more video here of the new excavations where they're finding stuff. What they do is when they find something, they'll cover it up in chalk. That's what this chalk's for. And so that way it stays preserved until the archaeological just can study it. But you can see there are still some things up there that still need to be discovered. I'm still at Tlaxcala, but over there I can see the city of Mexico. It's pretty crazy how far you can see on a clear day like today.
Well, that wraps up another short video of my time in Tlaxcala, Mexico. It was definitely an adventure. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like, subscribe, and comment. And I will be back again soon for another crazy Pedrosa adventure. Thank you for watching.